The first set of the day will be played on Newkirk, spawning in the bottom left-hand position as the Red Terran from Kespa Team 8. His name is Cure.
With a new hairstyle?
Yeah.
His opponent spawning on the bottom right side as the Blue Zerg, playing for SK Telecom T1. His name is S2.
So first match of the day, Terran versus Zerg on Newkirk. Both players, this is their best matchup as well. And both of them lost their last few games as well. So, you know, both of them are kind of looking to pick up some momentum again, essentially. And you know what? What better place to do it than in Winners League?
Oh yeah, just win once and you still play after you win the first set. And you know, the thing is that sometimes in Pro League, the players, they win for the day and they go like, oh my god, he just lost a huge losing streak. But they don't have a chance to carry the momentum later in that day unless they get sent out in the ace match of the same day.
Yep, exactly, that's true. So Winners League allows players that are just on a really big hot streak to, you know, abuse that essentially and rake up a lot of wins for their team. In yesterday's matches, we saw some players performing quite well. You know, they kind of got on a roll and they just continued through that the entire match.
Now, in the previous encounters, SK Telecom T1 did defeat Team 8 3 times out of 4, and if you look at the last 5 games, Team 8 hasn't won anything. SK Telecom T1, not so great either, 3 losses and 2 wins, but still better than Kespa Team 8.
I would have to agree with you, they are certainly doing better. But SK Telecom, you know, they have a really solid lineup here, and they have a lot of depth when it comes to their Protoss lineup, I feel. So I'm kind of expecting them to have an easier time in Winners League than Kespa Team 8, just due to the overall roster strength of them. Alright, so it looks like we're having a Reaper opening from our Terran player here. And he's going to be using that to scout, and maybe he'll make a second one, do a little bit of annoying harassment. And we just have a standard, you know, hatch pool opening from our Zerg player.
Slightly different than most Zergs out there. You know, these Zergs these days, they're trying to get the gas a little bit earlier, trying to play a little more defensive, get the speed out, but S2 seems like he doesn't want to get the speed right away.
Yeah, not opting for that speed quite yet, but, you know, it's still pretty early in the game, so not a huge deal if he doesn't want to get it too fast.
Yeah, it's just a personal preference between all of these players. Do they want to get more minerals in the early game, or do they want to play safe as possible against multiple Reaper harassment from their opponent?
And it looks like we have a command center going down from our Terran player here. So he's going to opt to go for some macro play. Not going to go for any kind of build that relies on doing a lot of economic damage earlier on in the game. And the Zerglings have popped out here. It looks like here he's forced out up to 6 Zerglings here. But I don't think he will force out any more at this rate.
Yeah, the 2 queens are coming out, and there's no way that there's no reason for S2 to make any more Zerglings at this point. Now, the question of the day is top 4 players in Pro League with most wins are all from Tekbing Nissan. You know, Flash sitting on like 200-something wins along with Jadong. Stork just hit 200. Visu slightly below 200 right now. Who is the 5th place?
Oh, I remember who it is.
Everyone knows who it is.
Because they used to list them in like the rankings and stuff. But we won't say anything other than that. And Reactor to Hellion build order coming out from Kira here. Yeah, after that expansion, he's going to start producing those Hellions pretty soon here.
I'm just curious what S2 is going to do, because a lot of Zerg these days have been going into Roaches, and we've been seeing a lot more Roach Hydra composition. The map is slightly big, but it's still only 2 players, so Roach Hydra is still viable on this map compared to Whirlwind, where it just didn't work out for our Zerg player from CJ Enta's effort.
Well, you know what? I think maybe as players start to figure out how to properly play that composition more, we may see some more bold players to try to replicate what Effort did, except maybe more successful on that map. We'll have to wait and see. Newkirk, definitely a different map overall than Whirlwind. You know, Whirlwind, of course, is a humongous map. Newkirk, more of a medium-sized map that also really lends itself to drop play.
Third hatchery going down. No surprise, since S2 actually decided to get gas a little bit later in the game. Actually, only just now he started mining gas. His opponent, Cure, he's just going for really standard Terran play.
Yep, getting out those Widow Mines there.
This is not what you do. This is not what you do, man.
All right, settle down, S&M. He's waiting for the action to happen, man. He doesn't even know what's going on. I'm not sure.
We need Wolf for the hairstyle advice.
Reaper getting taken out there. It does manage the scout. No gases in the main, though, so pretty important there. But we do see a gas go down as soon as that Reaper dies in the main base here. And I believe is that the APM tab there they're showing?
For a second. Now, it's kind of important that he didn't see any gas inside the main base, because now he knows that there's not going to be any bust coming anytime soon with Bailings mixed in to the circling army composition. Something that these Terran players are scared of these days. We saw Sulky versus Flash on Veilshare Vestige, whereas Flash was like, oh, I'm just going to get one of mine and I'm going to play my, try to micro as much as possible while having a lot of macro coming out from my main base. But look at this, there's a medevac drop going inside the main base.
All right,
he doesn't have detection.
Yeah, he leaves immediately, knowing that those Zerglings are ready there. They should be able to get a good surround to kill off those Widow Mines before they're able to do any damage here. But it looks like here he wants to put one at the third base there, but unfortunately for him, the third base for S2 has been made on that top right-hand position on the map there. So, the Widow Mines won't be too useful this game at this point.
At this point, it won't be too useful, but if S2 just leaves him there, then it's going to come back and bite him later in the game when he forgets that the Widow Mines are over there. So it's better for him to make an Overseer pretty soon and then start defusing those mines one by one.
Up. Hellions moving in here to the third base. We have decent surround by S2 here. He's able to do a lot of damage, takes out one of the Hellions, is probably going to get a second one here.
Yes.
He can get a proper surround, and yes, he gets it.
Now the Hellions are going to run away to the Widow Mines, and is S2 going to react in time? Yes.
Yeah, he reacts, so nice reaction timing there from S2. He could have ended up losing almost all of those Zerglings had he not reacted a little bit quicker. And I like this, using the one Viking just to kind of scare away these Overlords here and take away that map coverage that Terrans kind of need if they want to really abuse their medevacs.
And Cure, this is what we've been always saying about Cure. His multitasking ability, even back in Wings of Liberty, was phenomenal. I would say almost at Flash level when it comes to the harassment. And this Heart of the Swarm, this is his game. Using the booster, trying to drop multiple places at once while also going for the attack at the main. This is something that he loves to do. This is something that he can abuse in Heart of the Swarm.
Now something I'm noticing here that's very important. Our Zerg player 1-1 is about to complete for him, and the Terran's 1-1 is only just starting right now. So Kier is going to be pretty far behind in upgrades throughout this game, I feel.
Yeah, so what he needs to do is trying to gain some economic advantage by these drops. If these drops get taken out easily, then it's not going to be good for Kier.
Yep, and look at this. S2 completely prepared for this already. And the Widow Mines, one gets taken out, the other almost gets taken out. Wow, very, very close there. And we have a second medevac going at to the third base of S2 here. He is sending in some Zerglings now. He will be able to easily take out this drop, or at least prevent it from doing too much damage here. But the annoying medevac, it's still there, man.
Yeah, and the aggression mode by Cure is starting to turn on right now. He's just going to go for the constant aggression. Multiple drops around the map. Look at this, even using the Widow Mines, lifting up once again, saves all of them before going inside the main base once again.
And even though Kier's micro is quite good here, I have to say S2 has handled this quite well himself here, because essentially these drops, they're doing very little economic damage in these situations. And, you know, he's getting a few drones here and there. That Widow Mine actually has a good amount of kills on it, but through 3 medevacs, he's only managed to kill 7 workers throughout the entire game.
But you also have to remember that if you're allowing your opponent to do such little maneuvers while Terran players gets a third base right away, then it's going to be harder for Zerg to actually stay focused throughout the whole game. So S2, you know, he's been able to defend against the multiple drops earlier in the game. But what if this hits around 15 minutes, around 20 minutes, when he has to actually engage in the main army while in the main battle, while also defending back at the main base, the third and the natural at the same time? This is going to be a true test for S2 in this matchup.
It certainly will be. That Viking finally getting picked off by those medevacs there, so if S2 chooses, he can go ahead and spread those Overlords around the map again. The creep spread right now that we can see from S2, it's getting pretty solid right now. You know, he's covering most of his side of the map, and we're going to have a little bit of an engagement here. The Widow Mines
not
really in the back. S2 completely dominating here, taking out a lot of units and being very cost efficient. Once again, his 6-1 record is really showing you know, how solid he is in this matchup, essentially. And Cure is actually getting pushed back almost to his natural here, forced the lift off his third CC there.
This is something that usually doesn't happen in the TvZ. You know, Terran player plays aggressive, they have the Widow Mines in place, but in this particular engagement, the Widow Mines didn't do as much damage. Those Marines were taken up alive so easily, and nice drop at the third base. This is something that he needs if he was forced to lift up the third command center.
Looks like some damage will be done here. I think the Spore Crawler does get taken out, but the Zerglings and Mutas, they will go ahead and kill off the rest of those Marines there. Interestingly enough, we're having some Banelings in the mineral line there being morphed at the same time. And now S2, he's going to go ahead, take his fourth base behind this, and just continue the macro up here. He's looking pretty solid right now, man. He is ahead about 20 supply.
Yeah, what Cure needs to do right now is make constant Widow Mines and plant them around the map. Do not move out when you don't have enough force to engage the main army, because look at the Marine count right now. That's really low. Even with the Widow Mines, if S2 gets a nice round, then those are gone.
That's true, but S2, he still has to navigate through that minefield there and properly deal with those. And looks like Cure, he's moving in here with his main force, trying to bait some of the Zerg units into those Widow Mines here. And the Widow Mines at the bottom are taken out. The ones at the top.
Oh! Really nice detonation. This is something that Cure really needed to engage into this army.
But is it enough? Cure still on the run here. The Muta count very high at 14. There's 13 Banelings still in this army. The Zergling count has started to kind of crumble a little bit here. But once again, we see that Cure, he is just forced back. And the Banelings, are they going to connect with a lot of these units here? They do manage to hit some of those SCVs, but the Zerglings and Mutas, they do not follow up.
Yeah, it only killed the Marines in the end. Marines in the end, and the SCV count still 61 for Cure at this point.
So Cure is still pretty solid on the economic part of the game here, but the biggest issue is that he just doesn't have as much units.
I really like how S2 is playing this game. I've been talking about this yesterday about how all of these players want to play aggressive rather than playing passive throughout the whole game. Zerg players, they had the mindset of, oh, I need to defend against the Terran players throughout the whole game, so I'm going to stay defensive and trying to delay the Terran push as much as possible by setting up a nice flank around the map.
All right, we have a pretty solid engagement here. Widow Mines are going off, killing a lot of units here, but at the same time, I believe there's actually a drop in the main base.
Right now, there should be one, unless it was deflected.
Yeah, it was deflected. The Mutas are chasing him away, saying, "You're not coming over here, man. Get out of here. Who do you think you are?"
S2 knows how to be aggressive when he's supposed to be aggressive and defensive when he knows that he can't engage the army head on. This is what I really like about S2's play. He always has a lot of Zerglings out on the field. Those Mutas are always chasing away the medevacs. In fact, Cure, he's known for these multi-pronged attacks at multiple locations, but every single one of them have been getting deflected. And like I said earlier in the game, this is going to be true test in S2's TvZ and his multitasking ability to defend against the multiple medevac drops. And I have to say, he's doing a solid job today.
He's doing a very solid job taking out a few more of those Widow Mines there. And we have a potential drop kind of chilling up in the top right hand of the map. Another engagement. A lot of Zerglings running in here, not being terribly cost efficient, waiting for those Banelings, but S2, he still has to be very concerned about potential Widow Mines that can be behind that bio army, so it's up to him. He has to engage this army very carefully.
Yeah, but he's been delaying the push for a long time. We are already 19 minutes into the game. Hive is on its way, and seems like he wants to engage into this, but that's not that many Banelings left in the bio army.
The Marauders are being added into the mix here, but the Mutas and Zerglings are going to be able to do a great job against that. A Muta flock here is pretty large and dangerous now. Cure, he can't simply ignore the Mutas. We have another drop, and the Banelings just completely roll through those Marines right there, taking them out quite easily. Cure sniping off some creep tumors here. That's really nice. Going to kind of help give him a little bit more map control. He desperately needs to push back this creep.
Yeah, so he really needs to buy some time to get the Banelings in the connection. Oh, Cure out of position, and he's going to run away from the Banelings and the Zerglings and the Mutas.
And there's not really any Widow Mines over here. That's the biggest problem. And the Banelings, they're going to go ahead and connect with a lot of that Terran army. Cure falling in supply by a large amount here. He's down about 25 supply. The problem for Cure is S2 is winning pretty much every one of these engagements. That fourth base, that's going to almost guaranteed be... Nope, looks like S2 does get out of there and does not commit to killing that off.
Also, I don't think we saw any tunneling claws throughout the whole game. He's only sitting on one factory, one reactor one reactor factory, which means that he's not going to have enough Widow Mines at this point in the game. You need tons of Widow Mines around the map and force the Zerg to play defensively. That's what you want to do as a Terran player, but Cure, he's not doing that right now. In fact, he's adding 2 more starports and pretty much expecting some kind of airplay from his opponent, Cure, not Cure, S2.
We do see the +3 attack upgrades going on here. Also, another engagement. The Zerglings moving in here. Decent Widow Mine connections, killing off a lot of those Zerglings and Banelings, but the biggest issue is the overall Zergling Baneling count still very, very large at this point and very hard for Cure to really deal with here.
I don't think there was any engagement where Cure looked so far ahead. I mean, except for like this one and the previous one where he drove the Mutas away.
Yeah. One thing I do want to point out, though, is that Cure, he has had his 3-3 for a while now. He was behind in upgrades, but he did manage to get ahead here. Once again, another drop and another deflection from S2.
Yeah, well, S2 right now, he's got a perfect army composition to deal with the Bio Army, but if he wants to win the game right away, he needs to start getting the high-tech units out, or even the Infestors getting mixed into the main army. That's what he needs to do, but here's another engagement by S2.
S2, he didn't get the best engagement there. Yeah, this could be the turning point for Q here. Supplies very similar. The Mutas are focusing a lot down on these Marauders. This drop in the natural is not completely taken out here. And if we start to see cracks in the Zerg's defense, it's only a matter of time before the Terran starts to break them here. And we do see this 3rd base or 4th base under fire here. But
nice
the Infestors
fungal
have joined. Insane fungal on that main Bio Army. Those Mutas are going to be able to do so much damage here. And I think they will eventually be able to take out the rest of those Marines there. The other Infestors helping out, adding a few more fungals. And S2 will be able to defend this attack. He did lose a lot of units, but he is still ahead in supply.
Yeah, Cure saw the gap in S2's play, not having tech other than Mutas, Zerglings, and Banelings, so that's why he pressed forward, and the Infestor came out of nowhere. It popped out, went for the instant fungal, and Cure pretty much got caught pants down.
We're not seeing the +3 armor upgrade from S2 here, strangely enough. He does have that +3 attack for his melee units and his flying units, though.
I think he clicked on both of them at the same time and didn't realize that he didn't have resources or enough gas at the same time. So he expects it finish right now, but he's not going to notice it until he actually checks it out.
Yeah, he may be wondering, hey, my units are dying a little bit faster. What's going on? And that Overlord, did S2 manage to spot the drop? He certainly did here. Medevac's already running away, thinking, oh, crap, I can't go and engage in there. A few more fungals and Widow Mines going off here in the middle of the map. Kind of a stalemate, though, between both sides. Nothing too crazy from either direction there.
As the time goes on, this is going to be harder for S2 to win because he's sitting on the same unit composition. His opponent already has up to 4 bases now, so this is what he needs to do, try to harass as much as possible.
This is exactly what he needs to do, killing off that turret, getting a few SCVs as well. Cure is still only on 4 bases, though, so he's going to eventually have to go up to 5 here because S2, he's got a superior economy right now.
Well, the thing is that he never crossed the half line across the map, but it seems like this is a turn for S2 to cross the line and go for the engagement. Not just yet.
He wants to do something right now. He is actually a little bit behind in supply. Nice fungal going on a lot of those units there, but they are pushed back. At this point, we're not seeing any ultras yet. That's what I want to see in this scenario here. He already has the Infestor support. He's got the Mutas, the Lings, the Banelings, but where are the heavy hitters, the ultras?
Yeah, he even has the economy to put down a dam right now and just wait for the ultras to come out, but he's just sticking on the same unit composition, and this is really hurting the Zerg player S2 from SK Telecom T1.
All right, the Zerglings and Banelings rolling in here once again. The Widow Mine connections don't seem to really matter. Good fungals going off on this Terran army here, keeping them locked in place, so the Muta flock can target down a lot of the units. But indeed, like you said, no Zerglings, no Banelings. That's going to force this army back. There's a lot of specialty units in this army composition here, but the main bulk is lacking.
And also, since he was forced to make all the Zerglings, he's dumping all the minerals into something that he doesn't want to do. For everyone out there, they're saying, oh, Zerglings are free units because they're so cheap and cost efficient at some of the matches, but eventually they cost the minerals, and if you're not mining from every single base, then you're going to run out of minerals, so you're not going to have any Zerglings or Banelings against the Terran Bio.
So we have 5 more Infestors on the way here, strangely enough. It looks like S2 really wants to go for a late game fungal unit composition to deal with this bio here, and more nice fungals going down, hitting a lot of that bio. It's getting very low on health. Those medevacs are pretty much out of energy as well.
what S2 was doing really nice throughout the whole game is that he's been able to kill the medevacs when he had the chance to. We saw a lot of CBTs these days where the medevacs were kept alive, and even if the Terran player only had less bio, less army than their opponent, the medevacs supported the bio 24/7, and that allowed the Terran player to win the game easily in the end.
As the Fungals doing their jobs there, it almost feels like S2 wants to play a war of attrition here, just using more cost-efficient units to kind of win this battle here. We do have one Corruptor on the way, just strangely just one.
We also have a Great Aspire.
We do have a Great Aspire on the way as though, so I think it's already complete at this point.
It is.
So yeah, he'll have that. Maybe he'll decide to get some Broodlords later on in the game. He does have that crucial +3 attack, which is going to allow his Broodlords to really do a lot of damage to this bio army here.
Yeah, and Cure still needs to be careful. He does have up to 5 bases, but he doesn't have that many minerals. When it comes to supply, he's slightly behind his opponent, and by that I mean 20 supply. He just macroed up heavily after that, man.
Oh. Another big issue for Cure this game is that his drops have not done really a lot of damage here. Another solid fungal going down. A few of those units going to get taken out, but Cure still, you know, he has the Marauders in the front. He's using them to kind of tank a lot of these.
He needs to win this engagement.
Damage.
Cure needs to win this engagement. If not, then the Broodlords are going to come out pretty soon. We have up to 4 Corruptors, and you know, Cure, he doesn't expect any Great Aspire play coming out by Zerg player S2. If he already knew about it, he'll start making Vikings, Ravens against the composition, but he doesn't know about it. He's sticking to pure bio at this point, and all S2 is doing right now, buying some time.
S2 is buying a good amount of time here. Nice Fungals going down on this bio army, and more of these units getting taken out pretty cost efficiently here. Does lose a few of those infestors though, but the Broodlords are starting to morph in. We already have 3 in production right now. Yes, like you said, was scanned. So this is going to be the time where Kier wants to move in and try to gain a football hold here. Maybe take out this base over here and prevent those Broodlords from hitting a critical mass.
Yeah, well, S2 needs to try as much as possible. The infestors are in position. Nice fungal on the main army, and the Baneling's connecting to the large
sick Baneling connection there.
Wow.
The Fungals and the Banelings have been on point for S2 this game. Now the Broodlords added into the army here, so we're going to have a much stronger Zerg composition. It's going to be much more difficult for our Terran player to deal with. Widowmine connection, though, hits a few of those mutas. They will be able to generate at the same time. We have a double medevac drop heading for that main there, which looks pretty undefended.
Oh, that was not good. That was not good.
It wasn't good at all there. Man, you freaked out over that, dude.
Well, Widowmines, man, you know, they're a strong unit.
It sounded like you had like a Widowmine nightmare last night, and you're like having flashbacks now.
Oh man, you know, I've been playing a lot of different races on ladder, and those Widowmines, oh, they're hard to deal with.
Well, it looks like Kier's starting to make a little bit of leeway here. Does do a bit of economic damage over in this top base here. He may even be able to... No, he will not be able to take that out. Nice Fungals going down, hitting a lot of that bio army. I feel like S2, he's using Fungals like they existed in Wings of Liberty, man. He's like hitting everything.
A lot of people have been downplaying Fungals since the nerf on the Infestors back in the Wings of Liberty days with the... Wait, was it Wings of Liberty or was it at the Heart of the Swarm? I don't remember. It happened sometime back then.
At the end of Wings of Liberty.
At the end, right?
It. Yeah.
Okay, so when it became a projectile, because they were like, oh, we can't cast a Fungal instantly anymore. But it's still a great spell. The range is larger. It went from 6 to 11, I believe. So the Fungals, you know, they're still a great spell against the bio units from Terran players.
A few more Widowmines over here, but they're just being essentially activated by those Broodlords. Almost completely taken out there, and we were seeing S2. He's just starting to slowly move across the map here. I'm not sure. I feel like these players, they're constantly butting heads here, but no one's really making any real leeway. But this could be the change here. 2 medevacs getting sniped off essentially for free by a small amount of mutas here. Can S2 finally move across the map and make something happen here? He's got a nice strong army composition. Nice snipe on two of those infestors by a small amount of bio units over here, and they're going to be forced back into that medevac. Maybe they'll try the boost over to the main.
Curse needs to take a 6th base right now. He's been sitting on 5 bases. We're 34 minutes into the game. He needs to take a 6th base and fortify that position and make sure the Zerg army can actually engage into that army. In fact, I think it's better for him to set up a nice line in the middle of the map so that his opponent Zerg player, S2, cannot cross the half line.
And looking at the upgrades now, it looks like S2 finally realized that they didn't have that +3 armor. It is on way being researched here. Will complete momentarily. +2 air carapace on the way here. So S2 is really focusing a lot on his upgrades this game.
This is like the classic Wings of Liberty composition from our third player S2, and same for Kira, but it seems like Kira wants to engage into his army.
Oh, that Viking count, very impressive here, but the Vikings, they're going to have to avoid the fungals, but where are the infestors? Well, have they, there's a few left right now, but I think the main bulk of this Zerg army has completely decimated all of the ground forces here. Will we see the fungals? I'm not sure if those infestors have energy, but we're not seeing any of them, so...
I don't even know if he needs the fungals because he has the queens, he gets the infested Terrans that he could throw down, and Cure, he lost a lot of his ground army to few Bailings in the main army fight, so that was a mistake by Cure, not microing his bioforces in the main engagement.
Now with S2 having a very superior army here, looking at the supplies, 191 to 127, with our Zerg player S2 in the lead here, constantly shelling this expansion. The planetary fortress will eventually be forced to get taken down here, and I'm not sure if Cure will be able to defend against this Zerg onslaught here. He just has so many powerful units. S2's control this game has been just absolutely fantastic. He's been able to stop drop after drop. No real economic damage done on his side, and Cure just getting forced back more and more now.
Yeah, it just feels like Cure is actually out multitask. This is something that I don't want to say against Cure because he's amazing multitasker, but in this game, S2 was able to defend against all the drops like you said, while also having this nice micro in the main battle happening at the same time.
And here comes the potentially final attack. GG is called. SK Telecom's S2 takes game number 1 over Cure. I have to say that was a very back and forth game, but throughout all of it, I felt like S2 had the upper hand, and just he couldn't make any real leeway until the end there. But he's looking pretty happy about that victory. A hard battle, well won.
I have to say, a lot of these Zerg players, they play so well 15 minutes, and when the 20-minute hits, they start cracking up, they start showing these little gaps against the Terran players, and the Terran player abuses it by going for the multiple medevac drops, and the Zerg player just crumbles apart. S2 did not allow that to happen today. His muta presence around the map was phenomenal. His Zergling and Bailings